Imam Reza. Ali ibn Musa al-Reza was the seventh descendant of the Prophet Muhammad and the eighth one of the 12 Ins. Birth in Medina. In 766 at Zu al-Qida 148 H. A son was born in the house of Imam Musa Kazanbu in Medina, who took over the position of the imamate, after his father. He was named Ali and titled Reza. He was born 1 month after the martyrdom of his grandfather, Imam Jafar Sadiq Bu. Like his father and grandfather, his education came at the hands of his father. The mother of Imam Reza Bu was Najma, who was considered to be the most notable and distinguished lady in the realm of wisdom and faith. Najma was originally from the Maghreb, that is northwest Africa. She was purchased and freed by Hamida Khan, wife of Imam Sadiq Bu, and like Hamida was also a notable Islamic scholar. Imamate. Right from his childhood, Imam Reza Bu accompanied his father, Imam Kazan Bu, who repeatedly used to tell his friends, Ali al-Reza shall be the Imam after me. As such, Maksumi says one day Imam Kazan summoned and gathered us and said, I invited you to be witnesses that this child Ali al-Reza is my executor and successor. Yazid ibn Salat says, we were moving toward Mecca to perform the Hajj pilgrimage ceremony and we met Imam Kazan Bu in the way. I asked him to inform us about his successor. Imam Kazan explained that the imamate is a divine issue and the imam is designated by God. Then he said that my son, Ali al-Reza, whose name is the same as the first and the fourth imam, is the imam after me. Since an extreme choking atmosphere and pressure prevailed in the period of Imam Kazan Bu, he added, what I said must remain restricted up to you, and do not reproduce it to anybody unless you know he is one of our friends and companions. According to Ali ibn Yaqtan, Imam Kazan Bu said, Ali is the best of my children and I have conferred on him my epithet. Imam Kazan was poisoned while he was still in prison and martyred, and on the same day Imam Reza Bu was declared as the eighth Imam of a Shia Muslim. Imam Reza Bu had the great task with the correct interpretation of the Holy Quran. Especially under the most unfavorable circumstances prevailing under the government of Harun al-Rashid. Many belonging to the faith were imprisoned and those who were free and could not be jailed faced untold atrocities and sufferings. Imam Reza Bu, of course, stamped his impression upon his age by carrying on the mission of the great prophet in a peaceful manner even during the most chaotic periods, and it was mostly due to his efforts that the teachings of the Holy Prophet and his descendants became widespread. Imam Reza had inherited great qualities of head and heart from his ancestors. He was a versatile person and had full command over many languages. Ibn al-Fi al-Jazari penned very rightly that Imam Reza Bu was undoubtedly the greatest sage, saint and scholar of the 2nd century H. Once, on his way to Khorasan, current Khorasan, Iran, when he the Imam was brought by first by the guards of al-Maimun from Medina, he arrived on horseback at Naishabur, city of Iran. Myriads of people gathered round him and all roads were overcrowded as they had come to meet and see their great Imam. Abu Darda al-Razi and Muhammad ibn Islam al-Tusi, the two great scholars of the day, stepped out of the crowd and begged the Imam to halt there for a moment so that the faithful may be able to hear his voice. They also requested the Imam to address the gathering. The Imam granted the request and in his brief address told the mammoth gathering the real interpretation of La ilaha illallah, there is no God except Allah. Quoting Allah, he continued to say that the Kalima is the fortress of Allah and whoever entered the fortress saved himself from his wrath. He paused for a moment and continued that there were also a few conditions to entitle the entrance to the fortress, and the greatest of all conditions was sincere and complete submission to the Imam of the day. And very boldly and frankly explained to the people that any disloyalty to the Prophet and his descendants would withdraw the right of the entrance to the fortress. The only way to earn Almighty Allah's pleasure was to follow and obey the Prophet and his progeny, and that was the only path to salvation and immortality, because the Prophet Muhammad and his progeny but just obey God. The above-mentioned incident speaks clearly of the great popularity of Imam Reza Bu, and the love, loyalty and respect the Muslims gave their beloved Imam, al-Maimun, the king, was conscious of the fact that he would not survive for long if he also did not express his loyalty to the great leader, and his intelligence department had made it clear to him that the Iranian people, Shia Muslims, were truly and sincerely loyal to the Imam, and he could only win them over if he also pretended to give respect and sympathetic consideration to Imam Reza. Al-Maimun was a very shrewd person. He made a plan to invite Imam Reza and to offer him the heirship to the throne. The Imam was summoned by a royal decree and was compelled, under the circumstances, to leave Medina, where he was living a quiet life, and present himself at the royal court of Al-Maimun. On his arrival, Al-Maimun showed him hospitality and great respect, and then he said to him, "I want to get rid of myself of the caliphate and vest the office in you." But Imam Reza refused his offer, because he knew the plan of Al-Maimun by divine knowledge. Then Al-Maimun repeated his offer in a letter, saying, "If you refuse what I have offered you, then you must accept being the heir after me." But again Imam Reza refused his offer vigorously. Al-Maimun summoned him. He was alone with Al-Fadl ibn Sahl, the man with two offices, that is military and civil. There was no one else in their gathering. Al-Maimun said to Imam Reza, "I thought it appropriate to invest authority over the Muslims in you and to relieve myself of the responsibility by giving it to you." When again Imam Reza refused to accept his offer, Al-Maimun spoke to him as if threatening him for his refusal. Stipulated that any of them who opposed the decision should be executed. "So there is no escape for you from accepting what I want from you. I will ignore your rejection of it." In reply Imam Reza said, "I will agree to what you want of me as far as succession is concerned, on condition that I do not command, nor order, nor give legal decisions, nor judge, nor appoint, nor dismiss, nor change anything from how it is at present." Al-Maimun accepted all of that. On the day when Al-Maimun ordered to make the pledge of allegiance to Imam Reza, one of the close associates of Imam, who was present, narrates, "On that day I was in front of him, Imam Reza. He looked at me while I was feeling happy about what had happened. He signaled me to come closer. I went closer to him, and he said so that no one else could hear, 'Do not occupy your heart with this matter, and do not be happy about it. It is something which will not be achieved.'" Quoting Al-Talmah Shibli from his book Al-Maimun, we get a very clear picture of how Al-Maimun decided to offer his leadership to Imam Reza. Imam Reza was the eighth Imam, and Al-Maimun could not help holding him in great esteem because of the Imam's piety, wisdom, knowledge, modesty, decorum and personality. Therefore, he decided to nominate him the rightful heir to the throne. Earlier in 200 he had summoned the Abbasids. 33,000 Abbasids responded to the invitation and were entertained as royal guests. During their stay at the capital, he very closely observed and noted their capabilities, and eventually arrived at the conclusion that not one of them deserved to succeed him. Martyrdom. Imam Reza did not outlive Maimun, having been given poisoned grapes by him while accompanying him in Iran, Persia, and died at Tuz Khorasan, Iran in 818 at Safar 30, 203 Imam Reza is buried within Imam Reza Mosque, in Mashhad, Khorasan, Iran. Al-Maimun had been very scared of the growing popularity of Imam Reza. After giving the Imam the role of succession of himself, he was hoping the popularity would decrease. Al-Maimun therefore became very disappointed. Imam advised him to dismiss him from this position, but he had something else in mind. He decided once and for all to check his growing popularity and ensuring his own survival by acting according to the old traditions of killing Imams. The night before Imam's martyrdom, Imam told to one of his best companions about everything that will happen the day after. Imam Reza mentioned about his martyrdom and told him that just a divine leader can wash a divine leader's body. In fact, the next Imam should perform the ceremonial burial wash of the previous Imam. Aba Salt was told before that Imam Reza's son, Jawad is the next Imam, but Jawad was in Medina that time, while Imam Reza was in Tuzan, Iran. According to Aba Salt narrations, I saw Imam Reza came back to house after he had met Al-Maimun. He asked me to lock the doors, then he laid down. Suddenly I saw a beautiful youth in white as he was closing to the Imam Reza's room. I asked, "Who are you?" How could you come in through the locked doors? He replied, Aba Salt. I am Jawad Imam Reza's son and who God took me from Medina to here. He made me pass through the locked doors. Then he entered to the Imam's room. Imam Reza saw him and told him in his arms eagerly. Then whispered some secrets in his son's ear. Then I saw he is dying in the arms of his son. Following the martyrdom of Imam Reza, a revolt took place in Khorasan. Al-Maimun wept and beat upon his head to show that he was a mourner. Despite this, a wave of despises and noise on against Al-Maimun, so that he did not allow the funeral to be carried out for a day and a night, because he was afraid that the disturbance may expand and the angry, hostile and flared-up masses may annihilate all the setups and organizations. While some others like Ibn al-Jawzi thought that Abbasids had poisoned him as they did not want the Imam to be the caliph after Al-Maimun's death. The thing however is that most historians agree that Al-Maimun has killed the Imam as he did the same about some other great men who he was afraid of them. Today the Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad in Iran is the largest mosque in the world. The courtyards also contain a total of 14 minarets and some fountains. From the courtyards, external hallways named after scholars led to the inner areas of the mosque. They are referred to as Bast Sanctuary, since they were meant to be a safeguard for the shrine areas. The Bast hallways led towards a total of 21 internal halls through walkways surrounding the burial chamber of Imam Reza. Every year millions of people from everywhere come to his mosque to pilgrim and get healed or to be cured.